Tonight on DC News Now, it's Misery Sunday for the Washington Commanders. How fans are reacting to the team's sixth straight loss. Helping those impacted by Hurricane Melissa when a load of supplies will be headed to the island. Montgomery County officials seeing an increase in people experiencing homelessness. What they're doing to help.
And it's been chilly and very, very windy throughout the day today. It's still a bit blustery out there. When will these winds come down and when will those temperatures come up? We'll talk about that coming up.
Plus, Smithsonian Museum's welcoming visitors back when all the sites will reopen after the government shutdown. Good evening. Thank you for joining us for DC News Now. I'm Daniel Hamburg. Ben Dennis has tonight off. Breaking news, the FAA announcing it's ending its shutdown-era flight cuts at 40 major airports. The order impacting flights at Reagan, Dulles, and BWI. Travelers seeing long delays and hundreds of flights canceled. The FAA says airlines can resume normal flights starting at 6 a.m. tomorrow. It had been in place since November 7th. The agency says it was needed to ease the strain on air traffic controllers managing staffing shortages as workers called out sick. Well, the wind was howling throughout the DMV today. Check out the conditions on the National Mall. Wind advisories and red flag warnings expiring at 6, but it's going to remain breezy. Let's get a first check on the forecast with meteorologist Scott Sumner. How's it looking out there, Scott?
Yeah, you see that weather vane behind me here? Oh, yeah, it's that flag is still flying out there. All right, look at this. 61 mile an hour was one of the highest wind gusts this afternoon in Watersville, Maryland. Martinsburg at 55 miles an hour, DC at 50. I've added these two new ones here. Sterling, Virginia at 47 miles an hour, and Hancock, West Virginia coming in at 46 miles an hour. Right now, it's still a bit blustery, and there is a live look in across the city up towards Roslyn, right over across the Potomac there. Camera's not shaking too bad right now. Wind gusts are down to 28 miles an hour here in D.C. as opposed to 35 earlier on. Still, though, up around 40 miles an hour at Kaiser and near 40 at Martinsburg and mid-40s at Hagerstown, 46 mile an hour wind gusts. You'll see here the future winds. This is not wind gusts. This is just sustained winds per hour. And you can see we're going to be between 10 and 15 miles an hour going throughout the overnight and into tomorrow morning and afternoon. So it'll still be a bit breezy out there as the headlines show. We will have some more showers on the way. It comes in on Tuesday. And we do have a little bit of a warm-up coming later in the week. We'll break it all down for you as I usually do with that 7-day forecast.
All right, thank you, Scott. Developing now, DC fire crews putting out a brush fire today in Northwest DC. This is on 52nd Street near Rockwood Parkway. Officials say an area of brush and a portion of fence caught on fire. No one was hurt. In Maryland, Montgomery County fire crews putting out a large brush fire in a cornfield. This is in Damascus. Fire officials say it started just before 9:30 this morning on Mountain View Road. They say the 30-mile-per-hour winds helped spread the flames quickly. Crews were able to get it put out and no one was hurt. And in Virginia, we're learning more after a house fire in Loudoun County yesterday. The fire marshal's office says it was caused by a lithium-ion battery pack that was charging. They say there were more than $1 million in damages. Crews responded to Kiphart Drive yesterday afternoon. One person had minor injuries and a firefighter was also hurt. 2 people were displaced. Right now in 2 D.C. neighborhoods. D.C. police say anyone under 18 years old is not allowed to gather in groups of 9 or more in Navy Yard and the U Street corridor. That juvenile curfew is in effect until 11 p.m. tonight. The curfew comes 1 week after Mayor Muriel Bowser signed emergency legislation reinstating the juvenile curfew. The zones are where D.C. police believe large groups of young people will gather in ways that could pose a public risk. A citywide curfew starts at 11 and goes until 6 a.m. Well, new tonight, more aid will soon be on the way to Jamaica. Hurricane Melissa devastated the island last month. Since then, relief has flowed into the country to help those who need it most. DC News Now's Dave Laval tells us the latest aid will come from right here in the DMV.
Shoes. Alec Deary has more to donate outside JCK Lounge in Hyattsville. His donations are among the hurricane relief supplies collected by members of the Jamaican community.
I actually asked my whole family to contribute, so this is like collected by, my aunts and uncles and my mom, and a bunch of people contributed.
My family is from Jamaica.
Ricky Palmer organized the relief effort. His family is okay, but many of their neighbors are not, following the devastation left by Hurricane Melissa.
The storm left a lot of people in Jamaica homeless, without homes, without a roof over their head. Clothes has been damaged. Vehicles has been submerged underwater. So,
Clothes, non-perishable food are among the donated items. They're loaded onto a rental truck that will be used to help deliver the supplies to survivors.
I do have family there.
Shayla Adams Stafford serves on the Prince George's County Council. She helps set up relief efforts around the area.
As the only council member of Jamaican descent, I felt very strongly that I needed to partner with our community to get something done.
This is the van's first stop as it will roll into several locations around Prince George's County this week before it heads to New York City. The van is scheduled to leave later this week with its supplies.
Thank you guys so much. We're so appreciative.
Volunteers expect the truck to be completely filled with aid and hope for storm survivors. In Hyattsville, Maryland, Dave Laval, DC News Now.
Officials in Montgomery County say they are seeing an increase in the unsheltered population, and now they're working to figure out the best possible way to solve the problem with available local and federal funds. DC News Now's Tosin Fakile has more.
And county officials got a snapshot of the county's current homeless population. In their point-in-time count of this calendar year, they saw a 32% increase from 2024 and counted 1,510 total people experiencing homelessness. They say the largest increase in the unsheltered population is in family households. About 401 families were helped in emergency shelters this year. Officials say the county housed 795 adults and children with their short-term housing and resolution program.
It is incredible work to house 795 people, and we have at this point housed more people in 10 months than were counted on the night of the point-in-time count in January. So it's just a testament to what can be accomplished when we're all united in our goal.
Officials also talked about challenges, including funding threats from the federal government. They say under the Trump administration, they anticipate changes to HUD continuum of care funding, including a 30% cap on permanent housing. One council member says despite that, they have to have the difficult conversations and find a way to make it work.
So we have to continue to figure out what's realistic, and just be honest about that. About the limits in the services that we can provide, and go as close to those limits as we possibly can and leverage them and be strategic and thoughtful.
About 800 of those are in federally funded permanent supportive housing. We expect that about 600 will be impacted by a 70% cut in our housing programs. We are very fortunate to be in a county that invested so heavily into permanent supportive housing, and we don't have space for 560 people. So that is the challenge that we are currently intensively discussing.
Officials say they've moved into action mode as they go through the budgeting process, preparing for the federal funding difference. And they've started informing those who will be impacted in terms of housing by the federal cuts. In the studio, I'm Tosin Fakile. Back to you.
The Smithsonian says it's on track to have all of its buildings operating by Monday. The update comes as more museums reopen their doors to the public, including the Smithsonian's American Art Museum and National Portrait Gallery. The American Art Museum houses roughly 43,000 pieces from more than 7,000 American artists and is the nation's first collection of American art. The museum sees just over 1 million visitors pass through its doors every year, according to the Smithsonian. That makes it the nation's 7th most visited art museum. Visitors told us after the end of the 43-day government shutdown, they're glad to be able to see the amazing works of art housed in the building.
They're awesome. Look at this. Doesn't get better than this. Doesn't get better. What else would you do on a beautiful Sunday? Come to the museum and have a great time.
So, of course, many Smithsonian museums have now opened to the public. All the other Smithsonian buildings will open their doors tomorrow. The National Zoo, one of those Smithsonians that has reopened after the shutdown. Zookeepers giving us updates on the giant pandas. They say Qing Bao had a routine checkup in late October and is in very good health. The vet staff did a complete physical exam. They also checked to make sure she's eating enough. All right, the pain continues for Commanders fans. The Burgundy and Gold losing 16-13 in overtime to the Miami Dolphins during their game in Spain. It's their 6th straight loss. Washington and Miami needed an extra quarter as the game went into overtime, but a missed field goal led to Miami winning. Commanders fans watching this morning's game back home, many wishing for a better outcome. Others say they hope the team has time to reset before hitting the field again.
I hope that we can do a little bit better this year. It's been a little bit rough for past few games, especially seeing your franchise guy go down and whatnot. But I'm just hoping we can pick up the pieces and hopefully finish out the year strong, get ready and reset for next year.
The Commanders have a bye next weekend. They'll host the Denver Broncos at Northwest Stadium on November 30th. Well, today's game in Spain was the first ever for the NFL. Commanders fans gathering in local spots in Madrid. Those that made the trip in for a special surprise.
We know you came a long way, and we want to thank you. So next round is on us. Make it happen in the stadium. Cheer really loud. Let's go.
Look at that. The next round on Commanders owner Josh Harris. The NFL commissioner is praising this international series, saying the league plans to return to Spain and hopefully expand to other countries.